Ahoy, hoy, everyone.
Tricky Lug, how's everybody doing today? Oh, I almost forgot. There you go. How's everybody doing today?
Oh, now I know who you are.
Good thing. That never gets old, I'm sure.
Not for us.
Not for us. So, gosh, hi, everybody. How's it going? It's Sunday.
Sunday brunch time, right?
It is very, well, sure.
I think so. We've been up for a while.
It's very sunny here today, which is nice because it's been actually rainy and dreary. So it's good to have some sun shining in the window.
Yeah, I think I'll do some gardening today.
We had an awesome day yesterday. It was a busy but fun day.
It was.
Yesterday.
We had a super long walk and got to hang out with people outside.
With masks on appropriately and all that good stuff. So that was really a lot of fun. It was
not just any people, but members of Tricky.
No. We saw Minifig Chick and Paint Pusher yesterday. We also saw our dear friends the Parmleys, who I'm sure you know from the chat. Steve, Marilyn, David came by, and it was lovely. We got to sit out in our backyard and have a chat, and I have to say the Parmleys are so sweet.
Oh, yeah.
All through the pandemic, Marilyn has been making masks and sending them out, and we have some of her masks, and she brought us some new ones, which I'm really excited about. We've got Peanuts. There's some Marvel comics there. There's some little Mickey Mouse action, kind of like all of our favorite things. So I'm excited about. Thank you. And
she probably wouldn't tell anyone this, but in the early days last spring, she made hundreds of masks and sent them back east to frontline workers.
Yeah, it was. She did a ton of work, and then Steve brought for me. I'm so excited.
Okay, us.
This elves set that he'd been saving for a while. It is the Azari and the magical bakery.
I know there's no animals being saved in this one. They're just making delicious baked goods.
No, but perhaps a pie is being rescued.
Well, there's a magenta cat with fox with face tattoos.
Yeah, he's it's like dark red fox. There's a really great like pie sticker on here. Like, this is a really fun little set.
Well, we always love elves.
And I remember that it's funny because this was a set that was available like right when we very first started doing the
hobby.
When we started doing the hobby, right? Like, we just started doing Lego, and
of course it comes with mini dolls with pointy ears,
which is always good.
I've never actually thought about it before, but that would make a perfect Vulcan. So I have to find a brunette elf figure.
There are several. So
I made a Star Trek transporter room before.
I remember that. That was a long time ago.
One of my first things. Yeah.
Once again, towards the beginning.
Should we say hi to everyone?
I wish they would revisit elves too. And actually that will be something we're going to talk about.
It's oddly topical.
Here. But let's see who is here today. Everybody, don't forget. We do run through the list, and if you haven't chatted for a while, it doesn't list your name up there, so we're gonna do our best here.
And hello to everyone who's not chatting too.
I know that Alex23 is here because I saw his name up earlier. Brickanisa is here. Brickaroo Bonsai, Brickman Mosaic Art, Chris Chalice.
Straight up Chris Chalice.
That's hurting me a little bit.
Right? No,
I'm like so used to there being an awesome middle name.
Right to the point.
Yes, Darren Siegfried is here. Donnie Hebert is here. Hey, Donnie, how's it going? Fabufan MKE. Gary Mullane. Holly is here, joining us in just a minute. Hooded One. John Luttrell. Kathleen Maraid is here. Hi, Maraid.
Johnny Cat.
Marilyn Parmley is here. Good to see Marilyn.
Matthew Builds Bricks is here.
Matthew Builds Bricks and Minifig Nick all the way from the UK. Monica Berry is here. Moto is here. Patrick Wismer. P.T. McEwen. Remy Baker. Rob Zaccardi and the Zaccardis. Lana, Elena, and Vanessa. Hi, how's it going? Shane Levan is here. Hey, Shane. Smoke Up Johnny. Spot the Magic Ninja. Steve Parmley.
Hi, Steve.
So good to see you yesterday, Steve. The Hornburgers are here. Ahoy, hoy, Hornburgers. WGJL Builds, and Wilfred bonsoir. And I'm just going to count on that Kim will be filling in that spot there at the end. When she drops in, and that means now I can close that distracting YouTube window.
Well, now, what do you think? Should we welcome our guests?
Hey, my mom is here. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Elise.
How's it going? I am gonna. I have something to say, but I'm gonna invite our guests on first.
Here, give you one guess as to. It's a good friend of this character is going to be our first guest today.
Yes, that's right, everybody.
Good friend of Thunderman.
It's Moto. It's the back of Moto. And
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
And another very good friend of Thunderman.
Another good friend of Thunderman. It's Holly. Hello.
Why?
Ahoy. Hello, Holly.
So while everybody's here, while my mom's here, and I don't know if he's watching or not. I kind of hope my dad's watching too. But y'all, yesterday was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So,
wow.
It was a big one, and I was so bummed that we couldn't be there because we really wanted to be able to we would have been out in Baltimore hanging out for their anniversary. But I did get to call and talk to him yesterday, and we're gonna have a little
virtual hangout,
video chat a little later after the show.
Oh, and look, your dad's here too.
Oh, and dad's here too. Awesome!
Yay.
So, happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. That's 50 is substantial.
I know.
Congratulations.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations.
Sure.
No kidding.
That's awesome. So, Mr. Elise. Oh my goodness. That's a good one. Woo! All right.
That reminds me, actually.
You did, Johnny. You got his
coffee-
name right. My dad's name is Tom.
That's
Yes?
right. Our coffee is ready, so I'm gonna go and get it and bring it in here.
All right. Very good. Thank you
We
very
made
much.
some too, Richard.
I will.
Yeah, pass it around. Some for all of us.
Oh my goodness! So we got a few things to talk about today. Well, first of all, something happened, Holly, right? Like something mysterious arrived in your life.
Yeah, I actually have a couple of mysterious packages sitting over here that I thought maybe our audience might be interested in.
Do they? What kind of packages could they be, Holly? I'm surprised. Is it a delivery of paper pads and pencils?
Well, I'm not sure because I haven't opened them yet. It could be anything, but they
Could
have.
be anything.
There's a Lego logo on the outside, so it could be. It seems promising.
Lego? Who would have thought? I'm shocked and surprised, personally.
There's a good chance. There's a good chance it could be anything else. We never know. But
Now, one of them is a surprise box, and the other one is stuff that you ordered.
yeah, one of them I did peek, so I do know what the other one is. But I still think our audience might be interested.
Oh, I expect that they probably
At least
will.
some of them.
I expect they probably will. Oh, I see Richard's walking very slowly.
Yeah, they're very full.
Very full.
Testing my
Coffee cups.
I'm excited to see what you got.
There we go. All right. Can you do it with a book
I was
balanced
going
on
to
your
say,
head?
I absolutely
Probably.
am not. I've tried it. I am not poised.
All the shenanigans.
So, but there's a couple of other things. Well, first of all, let's do pins. And Moto, I saw Minifig Chicken Paint Pusher, and there is a little collection of pins that's going to be coming your way very
Excellent.
soon. So
I'll be indoctrinated into the brotherhood, sisterhood, hood.
Traveling pins.
Pins. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So,
The OG
who wants
hood
to
of
go
pins.
first? Holly, you good on a pin? By the way,
Yeah, I found a
Minifig
pretty
Chick will
found
be
a pretty-
joining us.
cute one
Running a little late.
in the stash. It's Pooh.
Yay!
He's a cute little animation Pooh.
Very cute.
Yeah.
He looks a little surprised.
He does. I know. I love
Wouldn't
that
you be?
expression. So cute. And who doesn't love Pooh?
All right. Let's see. How about
Moto?
Moto's smiling.
I'm just gonna do the dots bracelet.
Oh yeah, the dots bracelet.
Yep.
Okay, in the same vein as surprised Pooh, I've got Simba.
Yeah.
And
That's cute.
With
let's
ears.
see what have I got going on here. And then I've got a very, very happy Cheshire Cat.
That is the least
Very
sarcastic
cheerful.
Cheshire Cat I've ever
I
seen.
love it.
Yeah, no kidding.
We all went with cutesy pins today. I love it.
I know.
We're just in that mood, I guess.
So,
Oh, and Holly, because I always have a T-shirt underneath.
I love that shirt.
it's a good one.
Born to build.
Born to build.
Oh, very nice. And I've got my. What do you got? What are you sporting today, Holly? Oh,
Merlin's
Carl
house.
House.
Looks like a
Palace.
house that I know.
Very
It's a house I've
good.
seen before.
And then I've got my Science the Musical minifig T-shirt that I actually haven't worn in quite some time.
Neil deGrasse
So it was time.
Tyson, Carl Sagan, Galileo, Isaac Newton, and Albert Einstein.
It's such a great shirt.
Dang.
And the kid, when I used to teach, the kids really, really loved it. Mm.
And Carl Sagan's
Oh, goodness.
eyebrows are the standout star of the whole.
Giant. They like purposely drew really thick eyebrows on him, which is hilarious. So okay, well let's see. There's a thing going on, you guys.
What's that?
There's a
thing?
Lego idea thing that's
Yes.
going on that we need to
Yes.
talk about
I saw
Yes.
that. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
just a minute.
Mhm.
And so let's see. Joel's saying he wants your shirt, Holly. Where did you get it?
I'm pretty sure it was Hot Topic because I think they did some sort of competition or contesting for Coraline, and there were like a bunch of designs submitted and a bunch got made. I think they've since been retired, but you might be able to find some floating around the web somewhere. There's some really good ones. They were really good.
So here is the thing. So Lego Ideas website is doing this fan vote, help celebrate the 90th anniversary of the Lego Group, and they are going to they're taking a vote from all of these classic themes, and they're going to reimagine one of the classic themes as an adult-themed set. Like, I mean, aimed at adults.
Collectors.
Yeah, collectors.
90th anniversary set.
Yep.
Yeah, so think like, Pirates of Barracuda Bay was sort of a reimagined theme, right? Now, I was looking through the themes, and sadly, Monster Fighters isn't on there. You gotta say, it was
I
very
don't think it's old enough. These are all like pre-2000.
yeah. These are all like
Super old.
really, really old. And so, although I have to say so, and we'll see as we go through them, but I was a little surprised at a couple of things. So
there's 30 of them.
yeah, so there's 30, and they're
Mhm.
doing an initial vote now. Okay, and then after the initial vote, they're going to take the top 3, and then there's going to be a final vote. All right.
Yep.
And they're very, very specific.
They're very specific.
I
So
was like,
I
oh,
I saw the comment of like, hopefully this settles the debate that train is a theme.
yes, there you go. Lego Trains is a theme. Well, they did. I mean, they celebrated, Trains
Yeah.
as a theme at the 40th anniversary of Lego Trains, like not too long ago.
with that
with that little set.
Yep.
And am I
Mini
mistaken? But
picnic.
if you vote, can you also make a note of a sub theme that you'd like them to do? Is that part of it?
I was so sad to see the Calibur with
They glitched Galador for trains. They glitched it away. It got glitched.
I do wish that. Sorry, I do. There are a couple things. Yeah, I do wish Fabuland had been on here. That would have been pretty awesome.
Right.
Okay,
But I think a hard sell for a more collector adult audience. But
Yeah, I've seen a lot of noise for Bionicle. So if you guys are like really anti-Bionicle, you're gonna have to like vote a few times.
Yeah, because the Bionicle kids are coming out in force.
Yeah, millennials.
I love the classic space, but I so far my fantasy is it'll be some kind of castle thing.
Okay, so we have now. This is interesting.
Well, the problem is they just broke up castle across so many different themes. It's going
to. That's what I was just going to say, Moto. That was the thing that I was really surprised about. Rather than include some other ones, they chose to break castle up into like there must be at least 5, if not more.
That's what we call splitting the votes.
I thought it was very strange. Yeah. So
like maybe they're doing a little push, like we'd like it to be castle. Guys.
We prefer it not be castle.
No. They prefer that it not be castle. That's what I mean by splitting the vote. Because if you want castle, you have to pick which castle, which means that all the castles get distributed and like watered down.
I understand. So we've got Lego Lion Knights, Black Falcons, just classic castle, Forest Men.
Model teams in there.
I have that set.
Yeah. Forest Men, that's so fun.
That's one of my childhood sets.
Now, do you think that they are
they split Blacktron and Classic Space too.
For a hot second, I was thinking that. Now, did Blacktron have more than one set?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, a lot of them, right?
Because I was I thought so. Because I was gonna say it's interesting. For a half a second, I thought maybe they broke up this castle theme so much because they were going to actually do a specific set, but there are some of these that are obviously not just.
It's a whole theme.
Sets.
There's sub themes, yeah. A lot of these are just sub themes.
So now we have Black Knights again.
Sub themes.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Imperials. I think we all know where we're going to vote there. Space Police.
Oh, they really did break up space.
They did. Same thing. Castle and Space are going to have a hard time getting like collecting votes.
Yeah.
Big number.
Ooh, Wolfpack. Look how cool that is.
Yeah.
Now, I'm predicting Paradisa is going to wipe the slate clean, and that's all going to get all the votes. I'm convinced.
I will bet against you. I'll bet against you Vegas odds.
It's going to sweep the votes. I just know it.
I will say that right now, I think Dragon Knights might. I mean, it won't. Again, it's one of those things that it's kind of like an offshoot from Castle, so I don't think it would win there. But like in my mind, what they could do with like a Dragon, I mean, then again, it's also maybe not a whole lot different from what they've been doing with Ninjago sets lately. So
it's my favorite of the ones we've looked at today.
Yeah,
Dragon Knights looks super fun.
Yeah,
what's the most
I just want molded base plates. Whatever they do, just give me a molded base plate.
Yeah, exactly. Ice Planet. An Aqua Zone.
Well, that's like those new National Geographic sets. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff they've kind of like rendered already in like a more contemporary way. Like I feel like a lot of these could be like Process of Elimination if it's something that's close to anything else they've done recently.
So,
man, they really broke Castle and Space apart.
So
yeah, they did.
I had never even heard of this one.
And these two names, they stayed up all night coming up with these two names here. Piraeus and Explorian.
Well, you're starting to get into the 90s, 2000s in those ones with all the custom pieces. And,
yeah.
Explorians looks fun.
They put Time Cruisers in there? Oh, my gosh.
You did. Yeah.
Time Cruisers was hilarious because I look at the boxes and I think someone like dumped all the leftover pieces on someone's desk and said, "Can you make a theme out of this?"
Exactly right. Yeah.
And that poor person, they did the best they could, but yeah, that's one wild theme.
That's a rough one.
Yeah.
Divers. Now here's my vote. Adventurers.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I'm on board with that.
Gets my vote hands down. Love
it's the closest thing you're going to get to Indiana Jones. Not Indiana Jones. Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme Team.
Yeah, Extreme Team. Oh,
Rock Raiders.
Oh,
you know what would be kind of cool for Adventurers? Was Adventurers the one that had like the 4 different sub themes that was like the Egypt and what if they did like a mashup of all the different regions somehow?
It would. I am 100% here for that.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, or they could do one set of each of the 4 regions and make it a small little.
They had like dinos, right? So there'd be like dinosaurs, and there'd be like.
Yeah, they had the jungle. They had Egypt. They had Yeti, which was Himalayas. Yeah, they had a number of places. My favorite, by the way, my favorite minifig came from that line. Came from Adventures.
Which minifig?
It's when they go into the jungle. And it's the native Mayan feathered person with the unfortunate name of Achu, A-C-H-U.
Studios, yes.
So Studios. I mean, that's the closest we're gonna get to Monster, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
And that could be like gloriously reimagined if they were.
Yeah, they're pretty fun.
Well, now I understand why Bionicle's taking a huge run because they didn't break it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Now,
I never knew. It makes perfect sense with all the attachments, but I never knew Bionicle was a subset of Technic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, here in the label.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's you know.
Yeah, it's Technic compatible, but it is. I mean, construction is kind of like its own thing. It's a very strange thing, but I love it.
So we got Arctic.
And Alpha Team.
So,
hey, where's the? So if they had trains, where's Monorail?
Whoa!
That's what everybody's going to ask. Everybody's going to ask where's Monorail. If you opened up trains, why isn't there Monorail?
Does Monorail go under trains or town though?
So just so you know, the fan vote will be active until January 25th. So you've got 10 days, or no, 7 week, pretty much, to put in your vote.
Cool.
That'll be the first round. But yeah, I have to say, I did find it very odd that they hadn't that they chose to break those. Especially, I mean, I wasn't paying as close attention to Space, but now I see that like Space and Castle got really diluted, like just completely like spread out.
And again,
yeah, arguably Space. You know, they've got Space covered still. It's more realistic Space. It's not classic Space.
Yeah.
But
it's not neoclassic Space. It's not sci-fi. That's
right.
The
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
Well, I have this idea.
Oh, yeah.
What if we bring?
But they did. I mean, they covered it kind of with that set, but.
Yay! It's Minifig Chick. Hi,
Hey,
Cara.
Hi, Cara.
How's it going?
Going all right. How are y'all?
Good.
I'm taking apart the Mies van der Rohe Museum on the notion that we're going to have a very functional build space this year.
Okay.
But I was wondering, so
speaking of functional build spaces,
yes.
But Holly, what's your prediction? What's your prediction of what's going to win? And we'll find out from Moto too, and Cara if she had saw the reviews.
I don't know. Castle's got a strong following.
it does, but we were just talking about
It's
how
split.
all the votes are basically going to be split between all the different categories. So I don't think they're going to be able to accumulate a big enough number to make it to any one of them to the top three.
Yeah, it is super broken up, and both Castle and Space have at least 5 to 7 different offshoots for it. So
Someone's trying to summon Blair Archer.
I don't think it works that way, but if it does, oh my God.
I mean, there's no way to predict a number one out of that group. I would say Bionicle is probably going to make it to the top 3. I'd be surprised if it didn't. And
I don't think it'll make it to. I predict it will not be the top 1 though.
Bionicle.
I don't think it'll be the top 1 either. I think it'll have a strong like collective getting it to the top 3. But then once everything gets kind of compounded into the top 3, I don't think it's going to be a significant. Like I don't think 30-40% of Lego community are Bionicle people. So
that's what I.
I agree. Yeah, I do. I think it'll give a strong showing, but ultimately not take the top spot.
Yeah, I think Adventures has a pretty good chance. I feel like that's pretty hot on everybody's mind right now with the haunted house.
Yeah.
So I have a good feeling about that one, and
I will say this:
with that.
if Castle or Space, if any one of those makes it through, it's likely to jump to the top as the entire crowd gets behind and pushes.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, if you get
that's
either of
pretty
those
cool.
into the top 3, then they have a really,
Yep.
really
So
good
if
chance.
Castle or Space, if any one of those sub themes like squeaks through the top 3, then it's going to be a focus point for the remainder, and it's going to
That's right.
force it probably.
Yeah.
You see, like, and it's like for me, I'm going like I would love like if like I'm split between 2 castle themes. Like I love the Dragon Knights, but I also really love the Forest Men,
Yeah.
and would love to
Then-
see like
Then make that 2 of your 3 votes.
Will you
Oh,
put
and
them
train- I would say that like at least 30% of Lego fans seem to be train fans, so I think that one has a pretty good chance too.
That too, yeah.
I'm with Hooded one
Classic
here.
Space, Classic Castle, and Trains. Very good.
Now, trains have been pretty well represented, though, right?
They have, I know. It's
They
like I don't
have.
know if that's the one that I would want like a 90th anniversary set of. I don't think it's really
Oh,
necessary.
Brett says, did you see that you can
That's
write your own optional sub theme?
So
Yeah,
let's
I
all
would-
optional. Let's all optionally put Monorail in there.
I'm gonna optionally put Monster Fighters in. Hey,
Yeah.
Ben Kahn is here. Hey, Ben,
Hi,
how's it
Ben.
going? Welcome.
That'd be hilarious if a writing candidate won through.
And MJ is here. Our friend MJ. Stuffman, how's it going?
Yeah.
You know,
On.
you know what we should do sometime is do one of these history of shows, and it can be history of Monorail, and we can have like a, a total mystery, like, solve the mystery of the monorail. Not right now, but we can have that
Someday.
show.
Yeah. It's never going to happen.
Never say never, Hooded one. Never
Well,
say
never
never.
say Never say never
I
again.
know. I don't know.
Never say never again.
Well, and I think this is true too. Castle Monorail.
There you go.
I am here for Castle Monorail.
Well, Space Monorail would be really
Space
good
Monorail.
too. I mean,
There was a
Now,
Space
I've
Monorail.
seen before. Were they ever a set?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I think there was.
I think it was.
there
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Monorail.
Oh, I know.
I'm gonna look it up right now just to make sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it went back and forth. Not all the way around.
Probably. Did they they
Yes.
ever have? Well, yeah, they did. They did have like a full track on.
I have to admit, my knowledge of
6990.
Monorail is pretty small.
6990. Space with a monorail.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sweet. Okay, that's right up there with Ewok Village. That's on my list. Right
Yeah,
there.
what's on your list now?
Space
So if
Monorail.
anybody 501st monorail.
Oh wow! Here we go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, but we have other things. We have other things we can talk about today, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no. So I just wanted to look at that because it's kind of a big deal, right? Like everybody,
Yeah, that's a big
very
deal.
excited about that.
You know what? Whatever it is, whatever they land on, and whatever they make, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be excited about it.
Yes, please, Patrick.
Visual-
Patrick
Wismer.
needs help. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I'm here for that.
Yes.
I want to go there.
I know. I just want to be there.
Totally.
So let's see. Okay,
I know,
so
right, Joel? Frightening.
What?
Come on.
Are
there
we
has
gonna
to be
do
more
stickers?
support for Fright Nights.
Yeah, that could be a Monster Fighters-ish thing.
That would
Yeah.
be super awesome.
Well, I mean, people love spooky stuff so much. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, yes. So the subject, we actually have a subject today, something to talk about. I was just thinking over, so we've had shows about organizing your parts. Like we see that a lot. But I think that there are a lot that can be said about actually having a workable build space. And I know for a fact that all 4 of us have very different sizes of build space. So
And all 5 of us have different theories about how to organize a build.
exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think I probably have at least 3 different theories about organizing.
Yeah.
Well, I would say so. Arguably, just from what I know, I would say that Kara probably has the smallest workspace of the 4 of us. I would say probably Moto may have the largest space of all of us, and I think Holly has the most organized space of all of us.
Absolutely, yeah.
Probably.
And it's also very put together, which those are three words that I often think of when I think of Holly: organized and put together.
And we get most improved.
we get you tried. We get the You Tried award.
Well, let me say that the only I wish I had more like pictures of my old Lego space before we moved, because I feel like it looks pretty much in line with every other, like, you know, with the worst of the worst, like disasters of Lego spaces that there were. And it really was mostly like a space constraint. Like there just was no space or place to put anything. So when we were in the process of like looking for houses and moving and knew we were going to like move out to the burbs and get more space, like that was the main objective, is like, give us the house that needs all the fixer upper, whatever, as long as I have one big room that I can like actually design and like put thought into like where things are going to go. And that's why it's so put together. Like it was a process like before it even started.
I like your notion of build space disasters. I want to see that show.
What?
I have pictures.
I could just turn the camera slightly, like 45 degrees to the side, and you would see that.
But look, we're more colorful and cheerful and more room to build in the back.
Well, so something too that had me thinking when I thought about this, you know, making this the subject for today, is that not everybody has the luxury of a room, right? Like you don't have, you know, especially I know like sometimes like especially with like families with kids, because it's not always like, especially when Lego is not the main focus hobby of the family, like or one of the parents, when the focus is more on the kids. I think that there's less of usually less room for that kind of thing, unless you're really lucky and you're like Matthew Builds Bricks, who has like the most amazing like Lego space. Like I'm always so jealous whenever I see his space. Like he's got this great Lego space. But I think, and I also know that a lot of people who have small spaces struggle with the constant okay, they're going to bring it all out and work on it, but now I got to put it all back away again, and now I got to bring it back out and work on it again. I got to put it all back out again, or I just leave it all out on the table, and then, you know, my coffee table isn't usable for the next, you know, whatever, week to 10 days.
Well, week to 10 days.
Cara, how do you build a big project?
Well, define big, I guess, is the. I mean,
No,
so I don't do big like
of what you build.
Yeah,
like
I don't do big like you guys do big. I mean,
but you're more complex projects.
Yeah, so my mocks tend to be at most 32 by 32, and usually smaller. Partly just because I really like a 16 by 16 format. I just think it's a beautiful format, and you can cram a lot of story into a relatively minimalist build. But that said, I do love to build big kits. And so we have a few solutions. The first place I like to build is the most comfortable. And when talking about build spaces, I have to say comfortable seating is like ultimate. You have to have that. You have to be comfortable when you're building.
Yeah, so, I use my desk chair, adjustable desk chair.
So
I've got a sit stand situation here.
Oh, so just real quick, Matthew Builds Bricks says it's only my bedroom and it's quite small, and then he says I haven't got the biggest amount of space, but I would argue that you've made the most of that space, and I think that's one of the key things to setting up a workable build space is using what you have instead of and thinking of clever ways to store and I don't know. So some of the things to me that are important in a build space may not be the same things that are important to some other people. Like for me, I like to have a source of media in the room. Like that's super important to me. Either like like a movie I can have on in the background, or music or something. Like I need to have that. I just need to have a soundtrack. The other thing that I think is really important is lighting.
Yay, I'm a fan of lighting.
I think it's so important because I don't know. Like
we both need glasses, for close-up work. So, telling the difference between dark blue and dark green, in a poorly lit room can be really hard.
And that, and again too, like if you are a person who is building in your kitchen or in your dining room, and then you have to remove those things when you're done or whatever, I think having what we have here in the studio, and they're so easy to get your hands on these days, is a bulb that not only you can dim up and down, but also you can adjust the color of the light and make it warmer or cooler. Because I'm telling you, especially for if you want to be able to photograph your pieces, it's nice to have a bit more of a cooler light that is adjustable. When you're building, you want a warmer light because you want to be in your house and you want to feel cozy and you don't want to feel like you're, like under the fluorescent bulbs.
Well, we set our.
I was going to say, yeah. I went out and switched all my lights to those 5,500 or 5,000 Kelvin ultra daylight LEDs.
You like that crisp blue quality?
Well, the reason is when I sort, it was the only way I could distinguish between the old gray and the new grays very easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, the color definition was one of the reasons why is all the vintage brick, or if it's stained, it really stands out.
That's true. Like even like where, I've got one of those like ring lights most people have if they're streaming and whatnot, but it does have like, it has color temperature change, which is, I got it kind of twofold for, so that you can actually see me on camera. Cause otherwise this is all down lighting and you wouldn't be able to see my face because it's basically in shadow. And then same thing, like for my task area, which is essentially right here. I've got that light that I can do the same thing, change the color temperature, and I can rotate it down and actually see what I'm doing.
Well, I think that, and I'll say for me too, the color temperature changing, like having it more on that blue spectrum when you're building, is going along with what Moto was saying. Is like, not only can I see the difference between the two grays, I can see if that white brick is yellowed or looks different than the other white bricks.
And you can't tell that in warm light.
And you can't
right?
do it in warm light. You just can't, because they do yellow. So it automatically, and you don't see it. And I mean, I learned that lesson when I was I've learned it several times, but it really stuck when I was working on that commission. And one of the rooms was all white bricks and it looked great. And then I took it outside to photograph it. And it was like, whoa, there's a lot of.
Yeah. And then my light box, I've got I guess whenever we're ready to do room tours, I'll show you guys kind of some of these things. But I also have like the light box that I photograph in that has like a really, really like cool white LED light in it as well.
So Marilyn is asking, how do you change color temperature? I don't know what that is. So there are bulbs that you can buy now that are adjustable. You can usually, ours has an app on our phone, and it's a color changing bulb. Now, I don't mean color changing like, a party bulb, yellow, blue.
No,
I'm gonna have those too.
It's the difference between, the extreme would be a difference between candlelight on the warm side and a really, really like cloudy day outside, which is much bluer. And so the daylight ones are much more like that cloudy day.
So I think like bright lighting is essential, and no matter what space that you're in, and if that means that you got to pull over a floor lamp and put it over the table, do it. That's a huge difference.
So I would add something to that, and our friend Drew has one of the best setups. In his basement is converted to a build space, and he has tables on the perimeter. And above every table, he has a crisp, daylight white work light. And I think it's so important to have that work light in front of your head so you're not shadowing your work. Where oftentimes just a bulb in the middle of the ceiling in a room, you might shadow your work.
Exactly. And Marilyn, yes, there's ones with buttons that you can use to change the temperature. There's also ones that there's an app on your phone that you can control it with. Yeah, in the kitchen.
We have them like really inexpensive shelf
button
with a button. Just like that.
There you go. Whoops.
So you don't need an app or anything.
Yeah, not for this light, but I do have
my lights have a dial.
Lights in here. Yeah, but my main source of lighting is basically the recessed lighting that was already built into the room when we moved in. So I kind of had to use that, and then just fill in the rest with like the ambient and the task lighting, and you'll see it when I show you around. There's basically like a myriad of lights of all varieties everywhere.
I've been trying to move some
I have
stuff out of the way. It's going to be messy, but I could do a tour of 2 different spaces.
Oh, yeah,
'cause I build in 3 different places.
Yeah, I think Moto should go first.
Well, we
You
can
see
a
what you're
little
saying?
bit. We'll do ours later.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. I want to definitely continue talking about what are some other really important things. Like, okay, so we've gone over lighting. I think having a decent build table, even if it's your kitchen table or whatever, but even more importantly, especially
Or
for older
Tray on your lap.
a tray on your lap, if that's what
And
you're
I'm
looking
using
for.
a tray on my kitchen table.
There you go, a tray. Yes, trays. There you go. Trays are great, especially for people who are building in small spaces. Even though you have your kitchen table, if you build on that tray or you keep your pieces on that tray, then it's just as easy to pick it up and put it in the closet or wherever it is that you have to put it when you're not working on it. So
Now,
trays are awesome.
I will admit that the way we've traditionally worked, trays sometimes become time capsules, and then they're not useful as a tray anymore.
Well, there's that.
So you have to really look out, because we have all these great trays, but they're like, okay, that was March, that was April.
But still, trays are great. And I would also I would say, especially this is good for people with small spaces, is that you so we've talked before about divided boxes. I'm a huge fan of divided boxes, right? Like anything with lots of little things divided. And I find that and I did this more on the commission piece that I worked on than any other, is I keep an empty one and use it as a project box. So if I'm working on a project and I know I'm going to be using this, going back to the same parts over and over, but I want to keep from, things being everywhere, keeping that box, and I know that like all of my white slopes and my like leaves and the whatever else it is I'm using that day, you've got,
And it has a lid.
Yeah.
I have extras of like at my acro mills that I used to have in my old space. I kind of have those back in my back storage room, and I have those kind of reserved for projects, so I can pull those out and put them like, if like the last 2 big projects I've done where I do my Bricklink orders and I go and sort all those pieces and stuff, I basically put them in those acro mills containers just for those projects.
That makes perfect sense.
So the Hornbergers, they bought cafeteria trays. I bought some plastic ones, some little plastic cafeteria trays with the little, divided areas in them. Those are great.
Yeah, and I have, those. We have a couple of those larger ones from one of my first jobs. I worked in the dish room, at Humboldt State.
Yeah.
And so I used to draw portraits in pencil on these trays. You had to retire trays.
Yeah, I go for the Ikea, these like transparent, translucent Ikea ones that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they are. I think $6 either. They're not like $1, but I got like 4 of them, and they can stack when they're empty.
Yes, Moto. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoa, they're deep.
Baking sheets are great too.
That's what I was going to demo as far as my stage 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I like these. I like these in particular because they have a texture to them that kind of keeps things from sliding around so much. And then they have these corners that are really nice for sort of pouring into things. It seems like they're made for Lego. Except they're not.
That's one of the things I like about our blanket sorting method is I can pour it back into containers.
Oh yeah, and everybody. It took me way too long to acquire these. I don't know why. They were always on my list, and I just was lazy about getting them. Everybody should have these. These are
Those are
these
really
little
cool.
funnel
Are
trays.
those like from a pharmacy?
Yeah, you can get them at like Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight.
They're for tools and for sorting like little bits
That's
of
great.
Those are great with a little spout.
And they work perfectly with like, because I use obviously like pick and brick cups and stuff like that. They just fit so perfectly.
Ooh,
Very nice.
We need those.
And they're really good for, I sit here and sort my little parts, and then I just kind of put them bits at a time. And I get like a bunch of these if you can find them for good price.
So we need to take a pause from talking about trays.
Is it that time already?
It is that time already, everybody. It is time for our very special guest of the day. That's right. It's yay!
Hi,
Logan cookie
Logan.
time. Here
Hi.
he is. This is Logan. Oh,
It's a
Centaur.
good boy.
Centaur.
Centaur.
No, I love it.
That looks hungry. Okay, ready?
Oh,
that was a
yay.
good
Wow.
one, Logan.
Yeah, let's give Logan a quick guess to get his little
Okay,
spotlight real
Look,
quick.
now we'll see. On his way towards being able to balance one and toss it off his nose, he let me touch his nose with it. Good boy.
Nano
Progress.
Good boy, Logan. And Skittles here.
Skittles.
Hello.
Yay,
Oh,
Skittles.
okay.
Hi, Skittles. Skittles, the puppet dog.
That's all the cookies you get. You can't have any more.
Gotta have
cookies.
cute dog time. I love that new
Yeah.
Centaur body. Now, I got one of those
That's great.
yesterday. I didn't realize that it was a different color than the ones from the Harry Potter ones. It's dark brown. I mean, that one's like the dark orange, I mean. Very cool.
That's awesome.
All right, everybody. That was Logan
Good
Cookie
boy.
Time. All right. So,
It's not ready for that.
I know, I know it kind of snuck up. Oh my goodness, there's crumbs everywhere.
Whoa.
He's gonna jump on the table again.
Uh-oh.
So back to our discussion about creating a buildable workspace. We
Ooh,
talked,
I had an idea for a buildable workspace that was just
Yes.
inspired by Logan.
yes,
And that is the more things that are closed with covers, the better, because then dog hair doesn't get in there.
Yep.
Or
And,
dust.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
I would also suggest if you're a person who likes to drink coffee or water or have some kind of liquid nearby, that you get a good cup with a lid on it so that you don't accidentally spill onto your work. So that's a nice. Yep, there you go. So we talked about lighting. We talked about trays. We talked about non-spillable cups. Kind of now. This is kind of now. You may not have room for this, but having a dedicated work table, if that's at all humanly possible, is also good. And something that I might suggest, especially if you don't really, if you have the room for it, and maybe like 32 by 32 is maybe the biggest thing that you build, or maybe you even build smaller, is like a kitchen island cart that has a wooden top on it and has some shelves and drawers underneath of it that you can store things. And you can even if you have a bigger build room, having something like that to use as like a place to store parts that you can pull from while you're working, so that you don't get pieces all the way over your table.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, very
nice.
nice. Very nice.
I glued the big 48s down.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
measuring.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so you use that Super 77 spray adhesive or whatever. As long as you plan it out well and you've studded across appropriately, it's one step better than a non-stick surface because it's a studded surface.
Yes.
Right. So that's super trouble saving what you just said about studding across between
Yes.
those
Make
plates
sure you do that.
before you glue it down. On Lego Masters, we had these surfaces for one of the challenges that
Yeah.
weren't perfectly spaced, so you couldn't build
Oh.
across them, and there was
There was a bunch
of rushing
messed up
around.
our flow. Like they had to fix
Yeah,
it.
but once you pick, like, this was $25. It's super cheap. It's printed. It's not even real wood. It's like printed garbage. But once you find an island or a surface, I would say gluing base plates down is awesome, because if you want to save your pieces, you can just stud them into the table, and then you can pick the table up and walk away.
That's so smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So work like having a little like a cart is a great idea. Again, if you don't have a lot of space, and but you do have space for a cart, and that's great too, because then you can just roll it out of the way.
Yeah,
Right?
I've got a roll. I even have a rolling cart that rolls. Like I said, I've got a sit stand situation. So I've got like this table came from our old house that was in our kitchen. It's like a kitchen island, and it was from Ikea, and it's perfect because it's that standing like counter height, and then it has storage on the other side. So there's a shelf there where I put more bins. And then I have one of those like Ikea rolling carts, the little metal ones, that actually fits perfectly underneath it. So I can store it either underneath here or move it over to my sorting area.
Well, what do you think? Should we do a tour?
Oh, I'm not quite.
All right.
We're not quite there yet. We're getting to the tours. We still have.
Okay. I didn't mean us.
Nobody wants to see tours.
No.
What?
This is not
Nobody
Star
wants
Tours.
to see tours.
No one wants Star Tours.
So I was so talking about your sit stand table. That's something that we've talked about before on the show, but I think that is important is a table that's adjustable.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Is really great because you're especially like if you don't have the option like in a desk chair of raising or lowering your like where you're sitting, having a table that you can raise or lower at least a little bit is huge if you have the room for it and if you have if that's within your budget.
Well, I have two advantages that I think are huge for that. One is when I'm in the early part of a project and I'm running all over the build space trying to gather things from different things, I don't really feel like I want to sit down in between each one of those trips. So being able to adjust the table up and work standing is great. But then when I get really detailed, I don't want to stand all day.
Well, especially and again, this was like something we learned from Lego Masters and why we wanted an adjustable table. If you're working on something really tall and when you start getting up here, man, it can be really painful. I know from when we did Snake Queen, I knew then what I know now we would have invested in a table because when it got really tall, like we were standing on ladders and chairs and of course,
and that's terrifying, right? You're standing on the ladder.
land on the Lego model, like smash it everywhere.
Yeah, that reminds me of you guys trying to put the
Ewok Adventureland sign up.
Ewok, that sign over the Ewok village.
Oh my goodness!
Of you guys like hovering over.
Holly, it's funny. So Flynn was the one who was working with them when we first put it up there. There were other pieces that had to go on, like there was a spinning Endor, that was up there. And Flynn was up there and someone was holding him on the ladder. And I was so stressed I had to walk away. I couldn't because I would have just been
stressed.
I just would have been like, don't fall on it because had our sign fallen off its tall stand,
it would have taken out the entire thing. It would have
smashed the entire mountain of Monorail that we had put up and all of
half of the convention would have been obliterated.
Well, and then to make it extra terrifying, I'm like up there, leaning over, somebody's holding them and bouncing over. I look down and there's like 30 people all standing there. Looking like, no.
Oh yeah, I have pictures.
That was tough.
Exciting.
I do have one hint that's a bit cheaper than the base plate hint.
Oh yes.
So small art director, he builds on the floor like a lot of kids do, I think, or kids will build on their beds. I would say, getting a bed sheet or a bed cover or a bed duvet. I used to use bed sheets and I upgraded to more of those stitched bed covers.
Yep.
And I flip it to the white side up. But if you drape those over the table or over the building surface for your kids or yourself, especially kids who don't sort, number one, if you drop a piece, it won't skid. It'll stop.
Yeah.
But also, talking about cleanup, you just lift the four corners of the sheet up, and then you just dump the whole thing into the container. So you're not picking up pieces constantly. If they're building on top of one of those bed sheets, you just lift the whole bed sheet up and it becomes a parachute. And then I can always tumble the brick out of one of the four corners and it just goes right in the container and you're done.
I would say to Justin, you're not old enough yet. You don't have bad.
No. I'm entering my late 40s. And I was going to tell you, one of the weird things I do is I still build on the floor. So that's my second build space over there. When stuff gets really big, I have to build in front of the washer and dryer. You guys have seen that space.
Yes.
I sort on the floor a lot, and my favorite way to sort is to put a quilt, or something with a neutral background down on the floor. and just go through it like a crab, right?
Guess who's
Just
sorting?
really fast.
Guess who's sorting
know?
right now?
It's just because then you can
There
see
you go.
everything. Isn't it the worst? Do you ever have this experience where you're like sorting through a shoebox that's like 8 inches deep and all the pieces you're looking for are falling into the bottom? I love spreading them out because you can just see
Yeah.
everything.
That's when I use trays, though. I just tend to dump things out on trays and then funnel it back in.
Well, that's the grown-up way.
I was going to tell you guys, I did 17 gallons of sorting in the last 3 days, and the only way to get through that much that quickly is on a massive bed sheet and just churning it out and pushing it to the corners before you bag it up. I mean, it was just, otherwise it's always this 1 gallon at a time. It just gets really tough.
That makes me think of another thing that I think is important in build spaces, and that is having easy access to all the containers that these are going to go in, right? Because once you separate it out into 64 piles, you don't want to be like traversing the whole room every time you're going to put away
that's my
the
downfall.
tiles.
That's my downfall by not having Holly's system or your guys' system with trays. That's really, I'm not fast because of that.
Well,
I have to go out and pull it and pick it and then start building.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I know now, we've talked about storage of pieces, like how do you like store your pieces and stuff, and I think that it's funny. There's kind of like a very, very narrow line that separates, like, not divided up enough and then divided up too much.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have a lot of parts, because when you do go to start putting things away, rather than having 10 categories, you've got 35 categories. Then it's really, and actually one of the things that I was going to say in this, and one of the tips that I would give is, if you're building on the regular, even if you just establish some kind of organization that works for you, and learn it. And when I say learn it, I mean like know where those things are, because we put labels on everything, and eventually that helped us learn where things are, because it really helps when you're looking for things to at least have some idea of where they might be.
The challenge comes in when you have a partner, a spouse, a build partner, whatever, who thinks of some things differently than you do.
Well,
right. Exactly. So what is like a rocket part to him? We were just actually having this conversation last night. What I was calling them ice cream cones, and I actually had to show him a picture of the ice cream cone because he thinks of all cones as rocket parts. Like, right.
Got it.
Yeah, I solved it. I put all round pieces together. So regardless of what their use is, if they're round, they go in the same place. Round
We have
in the same place. Yeah.
Well,
but now, it's a negotiation.
Yeah. Well, and then part of it too is, of course, now I don't want to drill too far down into parts organization here, but once our round things container was overflowing, it was time to subdivide them. So now I've got like 2x2 round bricks are their own thing, right? Yeah. And then I have like larger round plates are their own thing.
I think about that as the chocolate fountain or champagne fountain phenomenon, right? Like we started out with we had 3 little drawers this big that our whole collection fit in. And then it just goes bigger and they overflow into smaller and smaller.
So I kind of have the same thing. Like basically I'll try to fit whatever. So I have like different tiered of sized sorting. So I have like the smaller, Iris / Acrobills containers up here for like the more like specialized pieces or whatever, or just whatever I don't have a lot of that will fit in there. And then basically once I've outgrown the small drawer, then it goes to a bigger drawer. If I don't have enough of the bigger drawers or I outgrow the big drawers, then it starts to go into pick-a-brick cups, which I have a storage system for of like mostly the taller ones. And then I have the bigger bins where I can bag up sets and disassemble sets, or have like to be sorted stashes that I can put in the big bin. So I kind of have, and then once I outgrow one size, I have another size to move into, or even my pick-a-brick cups. Like I might have one tall cup of all one type of part, but then as I start to run out of room, I can separate into 2 cups. Like, so I have one for colors and one for grayscale.
Now, does that make for some dissonance there because all of the little things are together and then all the pick-a-brick things are together? Do you have trouble like translating you know, you may have ton of one size that fits in. I don't know. I'm sure you have it all organized in your brain.
Yeah, I'll explain it when I show you guys around. I'll kind of explain how I have it set
Well,
up.
I will say that's the only advantage of me using Ziplocs is the Ziploc can expand very quickly.
Yeah, and that's what my bins are for. My bins are
flexible, but
full of Ziploc bags. Yeah.
I will say this. I do. So I have a bin right next to the desk, and it's the stuff I'm always using. So it's kind of like the RAM of my computer. It's right there, and I can grab it very quickly because I always are constantly using plates. So I got a ton of plates there. Then I've got my specialty clip and bar and round elements I use for a lot of my spaceship stuff. They're right under the sink. And then I have, you know, these little storage containers of all my cool pieces that I use all the time.
Those too. Yeah.
But they're only like 6 steps away from me. So that's kind of like the C drive. And then in a storage room over there, I've got like the D drive where it's, I've got the large containers, but I have to walk into that storage container and pull bags. And then for the stuff that I hardly ever use or when I need to swap techniques, I'll go out to my garage and it's like a brick pit where I'll have to pull an entire container and then walk it out from the cold of the winter in here and let it warm up. And then that's like my tape storage. So that's like, I'm constantly, depending on the build, you know, like if I'm doing Bionicle, I have to go out there and grab the big Bionicle container and pull it in or pull it out. So I'm
can
just
you
doing...
can you upgrade your cloud storage though?
No. Well, yeah, I mean, in a way. I just have to buy more. I have to buy more industrial racks, and I wasn't going to show it, but if there's time, I could go out in the garage on my mold. But it's.
Do you have temperature? Like, do you have temperature control out there? Or your part?
No, it's a concrete garage, so it will go down to like 45 in the winter, even if it's 3 below, and then it'll go up to. I want to see like 75 in the summer, even if it's 100 degrees.
That's good.
Well, so
it's not temperature controlled, but it's, you know what I mean. Right now it's 40 degrees. I go out there and you can feel the cold coming off the container when I bring inside.
Yeah.
So Rob Zaccardi mentioned this in the chat, and I just wanted to real quick show this because we showed it before, but this is what this is one of those like photo organizers from Michaels.
Those things are amazing.
And this is what we use to organize our minifigs. But like what Rob was saying, it would actually make it's a great way to store some Lego stuff that you're working with for a larger project if you don't have a lot of space, because this thing has like 30 other little things inside of it, like little boxes that hold surprisingly a large amount of stuff.
And I think the key to like organizing your parts is what you want to avoid generally is stacking things where you have to like move stuff to get to the bottom thing. So
we have stuff like that, unfortunately.
You want to make sure that you can pull things out without having to like, you don't want to stack things where you can't get to something that's in the middle very easily. That's the biggest key.
That's why we use the the Ikea. We get them Ikea, but the ones that have the cube storage, you can get them like 3x2 cubes.
Yep. That's what we use.
2 cubes. So that way I can stack, like a couple of Sterilite big flats and then a tub. Yeah. But it's small enough stacking that it's just easy to slide the thing out.
Yeah, that's
in my
old stacking things. It's impossible.
Yeah, my old room, all I had for storage in my old space were some built-in bookshelves, and it was kind of the same thing where at least I had those shelf dividers where I could only stack so many things per shelf, without having to have big old stacks for. Drawers are obviously ideal if you can swing in.
Drawers are amazing.
Yeah.
But I did want to say something that goes along with what y'all are saying. Is that having now I've lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, I'm listening.
Sorry, I just completely lost where I was going with that. Oh well, I'm sure it was unimportant. So
it'll come back.
Hopefully, we'll see. Oh darn, it was a really good one too. Oh no, I know what I was gonna say. If possible, sticking where you can with the same manufacturer of storage containers is going to make it a lot easier for you to store things, because 99% of the time they're made to be stackable. Yeah. They're made to fit. Like we use Sterilite, like they're pretty basic, but they all like every single one stack. It's almost like Lego, like two small ones stack on top of a big one, and you can put, another one on top. It's really helpful. If you start getting into too many different types of containers, then they can be a little bit more difficult to store.
Exactly. That's a hard, as someone who has problems with commitment, let me tell you, it is a hard commitment.
Yes, it is. It is. But but also too, a lot of it has to do with budget. Like we went with Sterilite because it was affordable.
Yeah, and Sterilite. Yeah. Hefty / Sterilite. I mean, they still work together. But
I will say like 80% of what went into this room was budget oriented. It may not seem like it, but keep in mind that most of this has been stuff that's been repurposed. It's a bunch of Ikea crap that we had in every corner of different rooms in our old house, and then as we were moving, and I was kind of laying out this room and trying to figure out how I was going to design it. I was basically trying to figure out, okay, what do we already have? What can I expand on? And trying to accumulate all the stuff that we already had and then just expand as needed. So I already had sort of a base to work with. So it wasn't a whole lot of cost up front. It's just, it took me a little while to fully build it out because I needed more Trofast systems. I wanted to replace my Acro Mills containers with these Iris containers because I wanted everything white. And that was a big expense. But like you said, I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to buy, I found them on sale and I bought all the ones that I needed all at once, even though that was one big expense. It was like, okay, but I want them all to be the same. And I don't want in 6 months from now, they've discontinued them and then I can't get them. But because I bought all those at once, I had to wait a few more months before I could buy another Trofast system. It just.
Well, I think one great advantage that you have in your space, and you made room for it, was that you did a coordinated design of the whole space all at once.
Yeah.
As opposed to, we've had this sort of paleontological, layers upon layers in our system.
That's how most people, that's what okay, so I'm going to show you guys a picture of my old space, just so you understand, where.
Can you point out the different geological strata as you
go through
it? This room I want to see 1992.
Yeah, this room was an addition on the house that started off as a home office, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, especially if you have kids. It was a home office that then I was trying to use as also a craft room. So it's I had a computer, then a sewing machine, and my shelves were half filled with books and half filled with craft supplies. And then it started to evolve, as I had kids and everything, it started to evolve into the kids having their space to create and craft and play. So then they had their own table there. Then I started collecting more Lego and it was turning into a Lego room. And eventually it was okay, we got to pick one, because this room, it was a closet sized room and there were walls and doors windows and doors on every wall. And it was there just was no space for anything. I was like, okay, it's going to be just the Lego room and we'll move all the craft supplies into this other nook of our house. And it eventually evolved into this. I don't know if you can see that without
yeah.
So there you go. That was a little snapshot of what my old Lego room looked like. And this is me.
That's what ours looks like.
Yeah,
that's what ours looks like.
I was going to say, it's very close to my storage room.
Exactly.
Without the table, just pure storage.
Yeah, well, the preservation of aisles is really important, isn't it?
Yes. Well, that's you have a walkway where you can shimmy your way through.
Well, that's why I have to stay so thin. It's the only way to get between all the storage.
Yeah, and then what everybody else does, I know, is when you have to build for a con and there's no room there, then it expands into the dining room.
Oh yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
So there you go. So I've been there, guys. I've been there not so long ago.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's important. You can have the best organized, and this is another point for making a workable build space. If you have, you can have the best organization in the world, but if you can't access it, then it's not helpful.
Well, it needs to be, and maybe you could all speak to this. I certainly have my ideas about it. It needs to be sustainable, right? Because you're actually going to go in there and not only maybe build Lego sets, but build projects, and have a life too. So I think sustainability is as hard with it as creating the system in the first place.
And I think it's funny too, you hear people talking about organizing parts and I think something that people, and I know we certainly didn't, But I think something that a lot of people don't think about at the offset of setting up their space, and they figured out later, is like, oh, I probably should have made some space to display models, because otherwise your table can get full of completed models, and then you don't even have room to work anymore. So
that's what the washer and dryer's for.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but I'm saying, like, just keeping that in mind is you will, like, if you're a person who likes to build sets or you build big mocks and you like to keep them when they're done, you gotta, and so I would say if you have, these are sort of like alternates. These are like alternate things that you could have if you have like a larger space. And that is, one of them is a space to shoot photos. Like if you had the space to do it, like a little, and it doesn't need to be huge. A small area where you can shoot photos, that's is a really good idea. And I know we talked about it earlier, but like a labeler is I don't know.
I finally got one. Again, I don't know why it took me so long, but I finally got one.
Well, yeah, because I gotta say, like that photo, like that, the photo suitcase is awesome, but without all of these labels, I'd be having to look through every single box to remember exactly which one, which one it is. And especially like for your small drawers, Holly, like being able to know what's there is.
Small drawers. I'll tell you what I'm doing for the system.
Do you attach the piece to the outside like Lego?
I am. I'm using command strips. I'm like cutting up command strips because it's just, I don't want to get hot glue everywhere or whatever. So I'm using command strips, and then just some 2x2. Like I got these off the wall, just a huge cup of 2x2 plates, and so I've been cutting these up and fixing these, and this has been working great. So now well, maybe not quite half, but I've gotten through a few. This is
because I'm looking behind you. I can see that. I can see the pieces stuck on the side.
I love that.
Not only are you're not just gluing the part to the drawer, you've made a system where you can change the purpose of the drawer next week.
Exactly. Yeah, with very minimal effort, and I've been doing that because I've already moved a couple of parts from the drawers to the cups, and it's just a matter of swapping out the pieces.
Yeah, I found that I had a very small drawer, and then the minute that showed up on the PAB wall, I immediately had to go to a very large drawer, because when you get anything off the PAB, you've immediately gone from a little bit to an overwhelming quantity of stuff.
Right. Well, I just think it's so hard to maintain a consistent system when some things all fit together, and then I've got 1.5 gallons of this other part. So we have some drawers in the bottom of this bookcase back here that are those, from like lug bulk and, other ways that you end up getting lots of bricks. But it's so easy to forget that you have 1,000 of something if it's, sequestered over there.
Yeah, I tend to, and I'm also, keep in mind, I'm able to keep this system functional only because I avoid doing a lot of bulk. I really don't want a lot of bulk parts and pieces here. I'm really trying to keep myself disciplined in doing as much digital design as I can. So I'm only ordering parts that I need as I need them.
Smart.
It's just more efficient. It's more economical for me. It's just better than just hoarding parts. I mean, I do hoard parts, but I try to keep the space in mind when I acquire anything. Like if I don't have space for it, then it's like I have to really second guess, do I really need it? Do I really need it right now?
Yeah. This morning I had to split a container, and that was a big deal, was to take, I got so much tan in the last bulk lot. I don't know what the deal with tan is these days, but there was so much tan it overflowed out of the, I normally keep all the earth tones like brown and tan, nougat, those together. I had orange together just because it was there, but I finally had to take the orange out and split the orange into another container with another color, because I do by color by type because I have so much stuff. But that was a pretty big deal where I'm like, oh, I actually need another 66 quart container to break out.
Yeah, I know.
And grow the system. So that was kind of a crazy thing that happened today.
Yeah, I was going to use the Lego tape, and then I realized I just didn't have enough of it. I was going to label. There was something I was use the Lego tape label. I can't remember what it was now. I was thinking I was going to put it where my pick-a-brick cups were and just kind of roll it across the top and put types. So, because I tend to organize in rows and columns. So I have a section for plates, a section for bricks, and I was thinking, I'll just roll the tape out and just put a plate, a brick, whatever, just to kind of label the rows. And then decided I really just wanted, because it's nice having the cups labeled, because now when I pull out a cup, it has the part on the lid, and so it's really easy to kind of be like,
Super easy.
yeah, I know what I have out and where it goes, and yeah, this ended up working better for me.
I'm going to say something controversial here, and it goes with this idea of having a space to shoot photos, and that is it's okay to design an empty space, which is always empty, and then you come and use it, and then you empty it again, and when you come back to it, maybe it's only 32 by 32.
I think my goal at this point is I've got the little box here. I've got my photo box, and I'm trying very hard. I'm not going to be on record as saying this, but I'm trying very hard to design within that size so that I can always be able to photograph it without having to pull out my huge rig.
Right.
Graph.
I couldn't live like that. You guys know I'm very fortunate in that I have an intentionally designed open space for various things that just for roaming around and doing all the things I like to do with my son.
Yeah.
So whether it's board games in the summer or this, that, and the other, it's great to have that multi-purpose room where you can have, the light kits to set up. They're kind of put away, but having that multi-purpose area somewhere in your house is really nice.
That's such a luxury if you can, if you do have
board games, puzzles, whatever it is nice to have a space that's sort of multi-purpose that can be easily converted to do photograph.
I'm ready for some room tours. Who's going? Who's doing it?
You.
Me?
I already personally did. Mine's kind of garbage, so I'll do the first half of mine. But yeah, you guys know that I used to do everything from over there.
Yep.
There it is.
So
the washer and dryer.
Yeah, I still have the washer and dryer. Still do videos of it. I was showing off some mocks I had a lug meeting yesterday. But yeah, underneath the sink, I have stackable containers and some Sterilite containers that I hide, and then that table. So if I have anything that's really massive, I have to start building off the floor, which is not great. I'll start sitting on the table once it gets to a certain height. But then I've got this space, and you guys have seen me doing the downward-facing camera before, but I've got a table here. And then, like I was saying, I'll start to overflow into these little containers and move things around for a medium-sized build. And then for display, I just kind of took, any horizontal surface over time becomes a display area if you don't take care of it, which is what happened behind me. So that's the backdrop.
That's what we find. Horizontal surfaces. It's like a super saturated solution, right? And then you just get one little crystal there, and it goes. And then you wake up the next morning, and it's all brick.
Yeah. Adam Savage has this thing where he says, unless you're constantly cleaning, any horizontal surface immediately becomes an unintentional storage area.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So at Fourth World, Adam, I can confirm 100% there is no such thing as enough space. Ever.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, when I started working from home in March, I didn't really have a home office at all. And Flynn gave up a sort of buffet that we had that was filled with baking supplies and all of that, and we stored those other places. So my entire office between March and now has been a 6x6 space between our studio here and the kitchen. And I have an L-shaped desk, and one side of it is always clear. So if I want to work on a little thing, I can just go there and work on that little thing. That's 6x6, but my desk chair can reach everything around me. Now, I'm fortunate enough that we have a place to store all of our bricks, out here in Flynn's office.
Yeah, that's what I tried to keep in mind too. Like when I was designing this space, is the triangle, kind of like when you're designing a kitchen or whatever, you want to design your tasks within the kind of 3-point, pivot area of going from here to here to here. So I have my work table here. I've got my pick-a-brick there. I've got my drawers here. And so there's really minimal having to move.
Well, and
I call my inefficient method Lego yoga. So I get my reps in just by walking back and forth and lifting heavy containers up and down, and that's how I get my curls in, and that's how. That's what I tell myself.
Are you guys ready for room tour? I'll have to there is a little bit of walking involved, but I'll have to go in from my phone.
Well, I think that brings up another point, which if you've watched my Twitch show, you'll know I talk about this a lot. So when I was in baking school, pastry school, my professor said, you're going to do, because you work at a table, and you're reaching a lot, just like you do with Lego building and stuff. And she would always say, like, bring the work to you.
Yes.
So, like, and I'm guilty of this all the time still, but then I hear her little voice, like, bring the work to you. But if you're working on a set or whatever, and you've got pieces over, you got kind of pieces all around you. If you're anything like me, you've got pieces all around, and your thing here and your model here, that you're wasting time and
All this, right?
and also a lot of movement with your arms, and over time it gets bad. So if the pieces are over here, don't keep reaching all the way over to the other side of the model for the pieces. Bring the pieces over and work with them near you. It's so much better for your body.
Exactly.
And your and time as well. I mean, I know, like, that's much more important when you're working at a bakery, like the time factor of it.
It's
But
still pretty important.
it is a lot of work, like constantly moving back and forth, and it can be hard on your body, especially for us older builders.
Yeah, I think like working a desktop, because I've worked in front of a computer since I was like 15 years old or something, and so I've kind of learned that hard lesson of posture and movement and trying to keep it,
Right. Let's see. Hey, the woodshop teacher is here. Hello. How's it going? That's a new name I haven't seen before. Welcome.
Woodshop teachers. Yeah, he joins a lot of streams, and he's from Europe. So thank you for coming.
Oh, very cool. Thanks for stopping by. Awesome. So are you ready for this, Holly?
Sure. Yeah. Let me. I'll mute myself over here, and you can.
Right now, I don't see any picture coming from your other device.
Yeah, I'll be walking around with my phone.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there she is. Hi,
All right.
Holly's other camera.
Hello.
Oh, someone uses an Apple.
Yes. All right. Let me mute that. All right. So there we go. So we're starting here. That's my table. That's my down view of kind of what it looks like when I'm working on mocks or sorting and whatnot. So like I said, this is this came out of our kitchen in our old house, kitchen island that has great sentimental value of making Christmas cookies with my kids and whatnot. So it already had some pretty good mojo in it. And it also gave me a starting point, because this is one big, I don't know what the size of this room is, but it's a really big open basement room. And I had to kind of decide, it's kind of a double-edged sword when you have that open floor plan kind of thing, because you have to decide like how you're going to use that space, how you're going to divide it, or if you're going to divide it, and what you're going to use it for. And I kind of had to make a hard decision of like, okay, I'm going to use this whole room for Lego. Am I going to use it all for display? Am I going to use it all for building? Am I going to use it for like, a downstairs like rec area? And I'm kind of doing all the things. It's enough space that I was able to kind of do all of them. But this table here was kind of the center point, because it's like, okay, I already have this table. It's exactly what I need for building, because again, it's like it's a standing height, but I've got a stool here that of course can roll around and whatnot. That gives, I can adjust. I don't really adjust it, but I adjusted it to a standing height, so I can just kind of lean across it. Or generally, like if I'm going over here and grabbing parts, like Richard said, if you're constantly grabbing things, you're really not even sitting down. A lot of times I'm just standing at the table, noodling with stuff. And I even have like a little standing, one of those, what do you call this? Like anti-fatigue mats?
Oh yeah, a little mat, like you get your
ergonomic mat. Well, you've also oriented your desk. The way I think the way you divided up your room allows you to look out into an open space where you see your beautiful models.
Exactly.
So
now keep in mind,
you don't feel cramped in a corner.
That's right. I drew all this out in a design program before I put a piece of furniture in here, so I knew exactly what I was doing before I did anything. So I did start with this table. That's at the standing height that I needed, and put it kind of right in the middle of where I wanted my build space to be to kind of keep everything within reach. And so on the back side, you can kind of see here that it gives me that storage area there where I've got the Sterilite bins and seems like the bins that pretty much everybody else has, for...
Yay!
Yep.
Yeah.
And a
bins of
really
storage.
cheerful ergonomic carpet underneath your feet
Isn't
when
it
you're
perfect?
building.
It's such a Lego rug. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then there you go. There's my kind of Trofast system that I've hacked together. Had to hack it together to get it up to standing height, to get it to counter height. So I had to put the wall units back to back on top of the standard cabinet units that they make. So in some cases, like over here, I can pull these out and you'll see that there's another smaller one back there.
Oh, sure.
Or like for stuff I don't need to access as much, or you have like these that go the full depth through there. But you can see there's a little bit of gap there where I've kind of screwed these in kind of back to back to get these all to line up.
We have a sort of Darwinism of the pieces where the least used pieces migrate to the back of
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I even have some empty bins back there, which is nice.
Like Lord of the Flies, it's Lord
Exactly.
of the Bricks.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little
And then
bit.
I've just got these two, I already had one of these. One of these was in my old Lego room. So these really, you can see there's two tabletops here. And again, from Ikea and super cheap. And these just fit perfectly. Like the way that these all lined up with the iris containers, you can kind of see from one end to the other.
Nice.
Between the Trofast systems and these tabletops and the iris systems, everything lines up almost perfectly end to end. Again,
Did I
along
see a
this wall.
Carnival of Souls over there.
Very
like
nice.
our friend Drew has a container filled with minifig heads. Is that what I'm seeing in the corner over there? The lamp? Or those are just yellow
it's
pieces?
actually hinges. It's a bunch of hinges I acquired at Scarebeck that
Oh, how fun.
yeah. So I filled up a lamp with those.
Very
You can kind of see like here I'm storing some of my lovely treasured items and con acquirements that I've gotten over the years. I try to keep those close by and in view because I do. These are my little treasures.
Thunderman.
So yeah,
Holly.
lots of fun stuff there. Some other little special goodies up here.
Okay, I'm going to make a request. I don't know if you want to share this part of your build room or not, but could we see your minifig collection while you're doing this?
Some of it, yeah, sure. Yeah. Now some of it, a lot of it's in there. I mean, those are just bins that like, my son can kind of go through there. It's overflowing, obviously, but yeah, he can come in here and just grab whatever he wants out of there, and he mixes and matches those parts, and that's mostly fine. And then I was going to explain, so getting into the storage stuff. Now these are older parts. This is like just kind of migrated from what I had originally. So it's kind of a mix of newer parts and some just really old parts. And I tend to kind of grab out of here when I'm just testing things. But let's see if I can find a good example of or here's a better example, like where I start to get into sorting by part and color. So it's all 1x2 bricks in here by color. And then if I start to kind of like run out of room, I go into the bigger drawers, and at a certain point, if this starts to fill up, they'll go into a cup, and I'll just have a cup of 1x2 red
That's
brick.
that
Although
fountain quality. They just overflow into larger containers.
yeah, exactly.
below.
And at a certain, and typically right now my pick a brick.
Holly has a brick cascade system.
Oh.
That was pretty good. But see, this I just go grayscale, so I do this pretty frequently throughout my whole collection, where I will just mix grayscale together, or I'll just have a drawer of color versus grayscale.
We
That's
do
how I-
that, and earth
Yeah.
tones as well.
Yeah, which I'm not sure how I let tan spill into there, but yeah.
Second
Anyway. And this
Shocking.
is
How do
like
you
this
sleep
gets
at
into
night?
newer parts over here, and this is where I've gotten better about like actually labeling drawers and making sure that it's just a certain part per drawer. More specialty pieces or things
That's
I don't
awesome.
have a lot
right.
of.
Saw the clicky eyes. Got their own container.
Or my clicky. This is what's embarrassing right here, and this is of course I haven't opened all my sets, but that's just
Whoa!
And now, when you go to look for one, are those suddenly empty?
No.
I'm just
that door
saying
will
we
never
have
be
so
empty.
many clickies.
Oh,
I've
I
got clickies everywhere. Look
Here.
at
Hey
this.
Mel,
I mean,
how's it going?
there's a clicky here, a clicky there, everywhere, clicky. Yeah. So, and then of course trays. So I've got a variety of different kinds of sorting trays here and there. These fit within other kinds of drawers and containers that I have. So sometimes these are like inside. So if you go over here, like this is one I tend to use while I'm building sets because you just open it up and, you know, you can see I just built the diner. So I have like the little extra parts there and you can store like plates and stuff underneath it.
I think
And
those
these are-
colorful containers are so fun.
I do too. And these are like Lego. These are actually Lego branded storage
Oh yeah, the little
boxes.
storage
Yeah,
box.
those are
Yeah,
cool.
which I have just a few of. I don't have a bunch, but I have just enough that mostly for the dividers. And I think I found them on sale at Target a few years ago. And then there's like my photo box there. So we're gonna try not to build outside of the box.
Oh, very
And
good.
Tabourets are so useful
Oh.
too. We have a couple
Yeah.
of tabourets. I
Yeah,
use
there's
one
the
for my
little rolling
drafting
cart.
supplies.
That if I don't have a UFO on top of, that fits perfectly
Yeah.
underneath the table.
I really want a rolling cart. That's the next thing I'm going to do, so I
Yeah.
can have my
And those
stackable
are-
containers.
These
in
are
a
everywhere and they're
movable way.
relatively affordable. Like I've seen
Yeah.
them at craft stores and stuff too. Like they make their own kinds.
Yeah, but
and
you
then
know
I-
me. I'm waiting for that great antique or estate sale where I can find an original steel one from the 40s. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like us.
We have a couple of plastic ones from the 60s.
Yeah.
I gotta have that 1940s steel
See, I've got
version or something.
2 drawers full of
someday.
Belleville right there.
Oh,
fun.
lovely.
Jeez.
And then I've
Moto,
got,
are
you know,
you-
everybody, I would recommend having a little stationery cabinet because this is where I keep, you know, scissors and tape and pens and all that stuff
Craggle.
that you need is good to have there.
It's good to have a place to have like tweezers and paintbrushes and all
Exactly.
those other.
Oh, yeah.
And I have some of
things.
that back here too. Like I have these like kits here that I use that have like my tweezers and like because I take these to conventions, so that's what I keep
Well,
that
that's
stuff in.
yes.
as a collector, isn't that just like a little bit of joy every time you pull out one of those like Lego branded little like
Yes, very much so.
toolboxes?
And then I also have
Yep.
on under here, I have kind of those same hardware things that have like more
Yes.
specialty parts and stuff. Like it tends to be pieces that I've acquired at conventions that I sort into these.
Ooh, I learned a thing about tackle boxes.
What's that?
They're not all created equal.
No, they're
Some
not.
tackle
They are
boxes,
not.
No.
When the lid is closed, you could shake it and they will not combine.
Yeah, these are
And
great.
some,
These,
when the
yeah, I
lid
can
is
totally do
closed,
that.
they'll
And
all
they don't.
combine.
That's why I have.
Yeah.
That's why I have 2 of them. And then these I like because they have drawers that come out. So
Yeah, I like those.
yeah, I like being able to pull those drawers out and use them if I need to.
Yeah.
So that one's pretty cool. But they do mix here. Like sometimes they cross over a little bit. So there's that.
Dang, Holly.
And
Well,
then
all
of
I
course
can
my
I don't know.
so
It's
far-
kind of haphazard.
I'll say this: my sticker set show and tells the rating I have for Holly's floor plan, which is tasty
Oh, yeah, we
meat.
oh right.
I give it a rating of tasty meat. Yeah,
Wow,
Nice.
that is something.
Tasty meat.
That
I
is
need more. I
something.
need it. I need it.
this came. This came from
Oh, I can't see chat.
a Lego Movie 1 set, 70812 Creative Ambush, but it's a kebab cart that transforms and flies. But you know, I've always wondered, you know, if you needed some tasty meat, the place to go is Octan. Octan has all of your tasty meat.
That is,
Oh my
Octan
gosh.
is like Acme.
Loaded.
They have all the great stuff.
and then
Yeah.
like Cannon Brown.
Yeah, whose meat is the tastiest? Octan.
Very nice.
I'm
There you
trying
go.
to catch up with the chat a little bit. They were asking about
Yeah.
the Technic. I don't know if they saw the.
Anyway, I give you a great rating of
Thank you,
on your
Moto.
entire room of a tasty meat scale of 5 out of 5.
I know. I give it 5 sausages.
Well, five sausages out of 5.
Yep, 5 stand green hot dogs.
Well, you know, Holly, if only you had put some thought into it, this room would be impressive.
I know.
But we're not done. I'm not done.
But wait, there's more.
Oh
Wait,
my
there's
goodness.
more. Because this
Well, wait,
is
there's
the
more.
part I've basically just finished now is this little pick-a-brick wall with some display room left above. And I just put the lights and stuff in here so you can actually see stuff over here now.
Oh, look at the display space on top.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I love
I know.
this. I
These
love
are all
this so
these
much.
are all iconic sets that she has as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Amazing.
like this one's from my childhood. This is when I had as a kid.
And did you hack your own lighting for that?
I did, yeah. I was able to like run the lights across the top because it actually gets pretty low because you can see there's no recessed lighting right here. So it was getting kind of dark over here and I was having a problem pulling out my cups and seeing what was in them. So now you can actually like.
Well, I gotta say
put
that
these
is
out.
that's also a really simple thing. Like talking about display and stuff, and I think that's a really simple thing that people don't think about sometimes. Is that just a little light in the shelf
Yes.
makes things so much more cheerful.
Well,
Right,
and you
nice.
can find all the
So-
parts.
So
Yeah.
do you
Yes.
guys know how they have those historic room tours with Victorian houses from the 1880s, like 140, 150 years ago?
Yeah,
So 150 years from now, they're going to have the Holly Lego room tour available. It's going to be the historic Holly Lego room museum and tour of this spectacular setup.
Yeah, you guys
This
might
is insane.
recognize this guy right here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
The
yeah.
figures and all.
so they're asking if are those wine racks, and I believe they
Yes.
are, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
That's straight
they're-
from IKEA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the IKEA wine rack inserts for the Becklick or whatever it's called?
It's
Cube
Kallax.
system? Kallax,
It's the
thank
it's
you.
all
And you
Kallax
said
systems.
those cups fit back to back.
They fit perfectly. So there's one there, and you can kind of see the other one on the back side there. So it works
Wow,
as a
that's
room
so
divider
cool.
and storage and display. I'm kind of doing all the things there.
Amazing.
Yeah,
And then, so do you have a time turner that allows you to go back in time and dust everything for like a week out of every week?
it's a chore. It is. I'm not going to do it every day, but
No, it looks wonderful though.
And then
What?
this gets into my minifig displays, which there's
Yeah,
going to
she
be
has
more
sealed
of.
display cases though. So
This
dust
is
doesn't
your
get on
bat
stuff.
cave coming up here.
Boo. Yeah, no, I'm not going to show the bat cave in the back.
No,
there, but-
I mean your shelves that we're looking at are like your bat cave here. It's got all of the utility belt pieces in it.
yeah. In fact, this half of this cabinet will be all
man,
Batman
you
by
had
the
the
time
dewbacks.
I pull all those out. Yes, this is like mostly Star Wars guys in here.
Well,
And
I
a
will say,
Raycor.
too,
Oh
that,
god, you're killing me.
Minifig organization and display is a subject we are actually going to touch on as a full show coming up soon.
Yeah, so I'll reserve
Yep.
some of this, but I'll just kind of quickly. So this is all superheroes in here that have been unboxed, including a couple of shelves of Batman stuff.
Well,
Zebra Batman.
Well, you won't be dusting those. We have
No,
one
don't
glass
have to dust
cabinet,
those.
and I love them.
Yeah.
Enclosed cabinets are so great.
Yeah, these are great. Not having to dust all this is great, and then I'll this is just kind of stuff that's been stuck in here, but I'll eventually build out some stuff that can. I just have I have trouble
Oh,
finding
man.
stuff that will fit in here.
Can I
Okay.
request one more shot, Holly?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Would you back up a little so that we can look at your whole build space together?
Yeah.
If possible.
Well, so this.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's some
yeah.
more divider
Wow.
shelves there. Again, all from IKEA. This is like one of the few things I had to buy new.
I think your build space is bigger than your local bricks and minifigs. I'm just saying.
Probably, yeah. And I've got another Kallax system over here for them actually putting like books and stuff in, and half built,
It's
models.
really, really efficiently organized. That's what's
Yeah.
incredible about it.
And it feels so open, right? There's so much air
Yeah.
and light in
Yeah.
it.
And so I did decide that I did want a lounge area because I like to play video games and watch movies, and so my kids come down here and we, hang out. So, this could have been tables. I could have put tables in here and just built Lego cities, and that was an option. I could have done it, but I just decided I wanted to have like a cool like hangout, space where we could just still have like family time.
That's incredible.
Well,
And then
that's
this actually
another thing
turns
I think
into
is-
this is
And
another
where like
build.
weird guests can sleep. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true. Flynn and Richard, that pulls out into a bed, and Flynn and Richard have tried it out. They got to stay over. Got a little
I was
slumber
going to
party.
say there's at least 5 or 6 Skittle sleeping areas. So
It's true. That's true. And then this is actually where I tend to build sets. So I do all my mocking and stuff kind of over there. And then if I'm just busting open a set, you can see there's the box from the diner I just put together. I tend to sit here and just come over here with that box and sorter and just build my sets here while we watch movies or.
Well, I think this points to another thing that I think is so important in build spaces, and that is making it a space that you want to go to, that you look forward to going to.
This is my pride and joy right here, actually.
I give her the Epic Flex Award for this stream.
Yes, exactly.
Holly,
here you go.
Holly, you had an Epic Flex.
Isn't that something you guys wanted?
Oh, man, come on.
Oh man.
Come on.
Now this is actually really cool. So to put these cabinets in, they're just standard, like cheap, super cheap, on sale, like Ikea base cabinets. And then instead of putting the standard doors on there, we use these glass cabinet doors that are meant for the upper cabinets, which obviously fit perfectly fine on base cabinets. And then the base cabinets come with this metal strip up along the top here that's made for these like magnetic lights.
Oh, that's so easy.
They're made for silverware drawers for base cabinets. So if they have a motion sensor. I turned it around. I flipped it the other way so that they're always on I have like a little light switch for them. But they have a motion sensor on the back. So they can just come on when you open the doors if you wanted for whatever reason.
Like the refrigerator.
Yeah. Or like if you...
Without the penguin.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that was like, it was like the easiest lighting, cabinet job I think we've put together in this house so far. This is actually a very like sentimental one. That's the walking AT-AT, and that is, I believe, the first Lego set that my husband bought for me for our first Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Why did you pair it with such a stupid other set?
Yeah, and the rest of it's just records because I sit down here and burn through records while I'm building. And,
So I wanted to. So I did want to say, like, Holly indeed takes the today's award for most epic Lego room, for absolute certain. But I did want to kind of come back around to talking about, like, I know a lot of people don't have the space to have an epic Lego room. Like, we have a medium space, and certainly we could make our room more epic, certainly.
Yeah.
But the fundamentals are there, right?
But exactly, that's what I'm saying, is like the fundamentals are there, and being able to, instead of like, because I know a lot of people see stuff like that and they're like, oh, I'm so intimidated, I could never have a room that's like that. But like, you can still have, by using all of those, all the things that we talked about today, have a workable build space, no matter what size it is, whether you're building on your kitchen table or you have a basement workshop, like our friend Drew has.
Look at that set.
Yay, Jake Sadovich.
you guys might like this one too.
I have that.
Oh yes, very nice.
And Marilyn Parmley, to answer your question, when we slept there, we were all about Skittles.
Yeah, Skittles pretty much was like I wanted to look at the Lego, but we were more like super hanging out with Skittles.
Yeah, although Skittles was all about you anyway.
I definitely played with the Duplo collection though.
Yes, yeah. There's I moved all the Duplo upstairs into Vincent's room, but yeah, we had like bins and bins of Duplo.
So this brings us to now, I haven't seen pictures of it yet, Holly, but this mysterious box that you're talking about. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's a big one there that just arrived. I'm pretty excited about.
Whoa.
Well, what do you think? Should we open the box?
Are you going to have to go back to your regular camera and do an unboxing?
It's probably easier to do it this way, actually.
Okay.
All right, well, let's get you. We're going to.
I wonder if Justin is still around. Because
that tape peeled back so easy.
This one I peeked. And I saw what I wanted to see.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
There it is.
Oh, yay. Now this is something you ordered, right?
This is something I ordered. Yeah. This was not a gift. This was a gift to me from me.
I'm so jealous. Oh, this is
pretty
one of my most wanted sets right now.
pretty excited to build that one and pick it apart and criticize it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I kid. Sort of. And then let's get that garbage out of the way. Now this one I might need scissors for, which is why.
Now this is
handy.
Now tell
That
us
thing is massive.
Yeah,
what
it's a
this
big
box
one.
is.
So this is a box that I received. Directly from Lego. You'll see it says USA Holly right there.
Is this because of the Ideas 10,000 thing?
This was from Ideas 10K. This was the prize I was supposed to get a while ago. They sent me the wrong thing.
Yes!
Holy cow.
There it is.
Yay!
So there's my prize for that, a lot of you actually earned me for getting Coraline to the 10K. So
Very nice.
That was on the list. That's better.
Yeah, that is Diagon Alley, by the way, for those of you who can't see the whole thing, but that is Diagon Alley
with Hedwig,
which I am currently putting together on Twitch, and we'll be doing so tomorrow.
Whoa, it's so cool.
Amazing.
Very nice.
Man.
It's a
all right,
super
show's
fun
over.
build.
I gotta build.
Do you think it's worth me traversing the cell, or not even worth it? Right, where it's too late, isn't it?
What now? Doing what?
Quarter to noon.
I think we have time, right?
For what?
To see
I could
Monorail.
traverse. You've seen my outbuilding. I could go traverse out there, but it's kind of like it's not the average. It's way beyond average, right?
Well, what do you mean way beyond average?
It's not like the average person would have that set up, so I don't even think it's worth it.
Well, I don't know
But
about
we're
that.
excited to see where you make your magic.
Yeah, we had I mean, if you're ready to show it, we can, or we can do it on another show. It's up to you.
No, I'll tell you what. Put me in the green room on this one. I have a little bit of cleanup to do because I didn't even know what the topic of the show was, so I had no prep time. It's going to be messy. I'm just going to get a bunch of cardboard boxes out of the way, so it's not
Messy is okay. We're all builders here.
Okay.
I do have a back room that I didn't show off.
So put me in the back room or green room, and after about 5 minutes, I'll get my cell phone set up and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are. I will say we are pulling in close to the end of time here, and
Time.
we have an awesome.
end of time.
I know we have an awesome. We have a call with my parents for their anniversary soon, so we'll be doing that after that's the next camera appearance, and then we have a D&D game tonight, so it's going to be lots of camera today.
Wow.
Joel's asking how much tidying did she. I let her know an hour before that this is what the subject was going to be, and I said it'd be great if you show your room, but you absolutely don't have to. Like I was happy just to talk about building a space today. So we're really thank you, Holly, for showing, and also Moto.
Yeah, it was pretty tidy because we did like a Lego Cribs tour thing for Bricks LA last weekend. So
yeah.
Before that, though, I mean, when they asked me to do that, I have, like I said, I have kind of like a storage room back there that was not tidy. And I was in the process of like kind of pulling everything out of there and rearranging things and putting it all back. So I had lots and lots of like bins and boxes and debris and parts and Ziploc bags. Like it looked like everything had just exploded in here. And they were like, "Hey, you want to do a room tour this weekend?" I was like, yeah, deadline's probably what I need.
Well, I want, so just real quick while we're waiting for Moto, I just want to kind of review some of the stuff that we talked about over the last little while about, things that are important to have for a workable build space. Adjustable lighting is one of the first things we talked about, when I say adjustable, I mean that like you can adjust the temperature or color of it. Also that you have lighting in the proper place, because a lamp lit up over there in the corner isn't going to help you building over here.
Oh, and can I give a low cost tip on that lighting of the right color? If you can't, if you don't want to go and get color changing LEDs, you can go and get a daylight CFL, just a fluorescent bulb, and put it in one of those reflector housings, that you get at the hardware store, or those, even not the smart ones, but the standard LED light bulbs can be just the right color, and they're pretty cheap now.
That's what I have. And I use this for like a little clamp light if I really need extra light here.
So we talked about we talked about having a workable storage system that works, like an arrangement that works for whatever space that you have. Access to that storage is another really important. And I think having a build table, and I was going to say earlier, I know we talked about an adjustable build table, and if you can't get an adjustable build table, like it's just out of reach, an adjustable height chair can be like, it's not 100% as good as an up and down table because you can't get that same kind of height out of an adjustable chair, but it still helps bring you up or down to your surface of building and makes it easier.
Save the body.
Yes, exactly. Bring the work to you. And I'm trying to think of what some of the other things that we talked about.
Having expandability.
Does Cara have space to show off?
I can show some stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great, Cara.
And so Joel's asking too. So, this is the complete opposite of Holly's space. We live in a 1-bedroom apartment in San Francisco, so it's small. There is no space. And Robert and I have multiple hobbies each, but Lego is the primary one. So I usually do a lot of my work sitting here in my comfy chair with a tray on my lap because it's comfortable. I like it. All right, let's see here. Let's get up, and now down here on the floor is a box of things from Bricks and Pieces that I haven't gone through yet. There's boxes on the living room floor.
You have lots of model storage space, like your bookcases and all that. You have lots of models displayed.
We do. So for the build space, so we've got this
pretty.
These cabinets from Ikea with all the Sterilite containers, and we just use paper tape and a Sharpie to put the labels on.
So smart putting them vertically too.
Yeah, and it fits 5 of them perfectly in these IKEA boxes. I've got the
those photo storage boxes.
Yep. Or here's like the stacking option. So this is an IKEA box, and then more Sterilite. And so
your containers are very similar to ours.
Yeah, they're exactly the same. And then here, let's see here. Here's
woohoo!
Giant drafting table, and it usually looks like this. Right now,
with adjustable light right on it.
Looks familiar. Yep.
So working on trying to redo Sesame Street a little bit, going through a bunch of lug bulk from years past, just kind of sort it out and remember what we have. Got my minifig display, which we'll talk about in greater detail when we do the minifig show.
Nice.
Keep all the brick separators in one of these boxes, because when I want one, they're everywhere until I actually want one.
Yes.
And then we've got our awesome entertainment cabinet, which is where, I don't know if we can see this. It's really hard to do this on my phone, but so we've got Technique in here, a whole bunch of like giant plates, just things that we don't use as often. And Technique is just in one bin because we don't do much with Technique. And then over here in the foyer, got another cabinet, which has got all sorts of little things like minifig accessories, the Technique axles and pins and stuff.
Okay, I'd actually say that Cara is the most organized.
Oh, no.
You're more organized than I am, I think.
I don't know about that.
Organized.
So here, let me show you my floor. So I've got just bins everywhere. This would be my build space if I could clean it. my Fabuland bag. down here. There's totes in the corner with just full of like, oh, here's a bag of interesting parts I don't know where to put. So it goes in the back.
Oh yes.
Well, you often have several projects, jewelry and Lego going on that project
Totally
table.
Totally do. Yep. And very often they're the same Lego jewelry.
Right.
You know, but so we were talking earlier about horizontal spaces becoming like de facto storage.
Right.
That is my living room floor. Okay. And so, you know, so I just showed you like 2/3 of my apartment. The drafting table is actually it's the other half of the kitchen, right? So if I just turn 90 degrees, you get my kitchen. It is what it is. You know, you find space when you need space.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So
It kind of makes the whole place feel like a studio.
It totally is. It totally is. And and then we've got, you know, every like flat table space. Let's see if I can do this. Is a display space. So we've got trains here. Got a whole bunch of stuff over here.
Minnie and Mickey.
Yay! And the train station. I come in the bedroom. You know, our dresser is just covered with stuff.
Models.
We just moved Hogwarts Castle to our bedroom.
You know.
Very good. Oh,
Cars getting
This light table
There you go.
mop.
Oh, that's cool.
Another nice display with lights.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's a light table. So
That's one of Paint Pusher's buildings, right?
Awesome.
yep, his whole thing.
I love it.
So yeah, we have Lego pretty much everywhere.
All right. Well, I see Moto is here on his other camera here. So I'm gonna pop over to Moto.
So we just saw a city build space, and now we're going to see a little bit more rural.
country build
Rural
space.
build space.
That went from suburb to city to
Hey
country.
guys.
Hi, Moto.
Hi.
Yeah, so this is my garage and the doors have been sealed up. So I'm going to take you through what we call islands. So each island has like a big rug. But like you were saying, it's nice if you have room for a photo backdrop. So it's an 8-foot tall photo backdrop that can roll down. And I use these industrial steel storage units, but these are all 66 quart containers. And this is why I was saying where all my stuff is sorted by kind of color and type.
Wow,
Or by
giant size.
Yeah. So this is all like
Translucent is key, right?
the translucent. Yeah, is in a different container, but that's all like.
No, your cases, all of your containers are translucent.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I know that the orange is in there. I know black is over there, and then Technic or what. I kind of memorized it. I do have to label it all.
Bye,
And then-
Bacanica.
And then this is all of my mocks that I've ever built. They're in that side, and then these are all the sets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So all the sets I've ever restored or whatever is set over there. And a little bit on the other side. Yeah, and then the cosplay, rock hounding, fossils, they're all over there. But yeah, this is a massive, massive, massive garage. And because the doors are sealed up, there's really nothing else to do with it other than, we call these islands. So that's island 1. There's a transitory island with some artwork. I had to flip some stuff around. So.
Well, this
And
is
then-
kind of a giant size version of it, but this sort of clumping of similar projects, you know, to keep them, you know, from going crazy is great. It's just some people may have, you know, placemats on their table versus carpets on the floor.
Yeah. These are all like large rugs I got from estate sales and things. And then you guys know the
Including
egg
your
and the spaceship. Yeah, the egg is out, the body's out, because I'm going to start working on that soon. And then there's Sir Meowsalot. A lot of people have wondered, where do I get my photo bases? Well, they sit out here in the garage, and they're just all like little thrift store finds. Smoke Up Johnny, that's a Lazy Susan. They're fantastic.
Oh yeah, they were talking about Lazy Susans earlier.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those too.
Yeah, those are great.
And then like
Motorized
Holly,
ones, too. Yeah.
yeah, like Holly, I've got the music set up out here as well with the stereo and some stuff.
Well, and I think actually, Moto, that's something important too for people who are on a budget. thrift stores are an amazing source of stuff, like especially storage stuff.
Yeah, and estate sales too. Like this old oak filing cabinet, that was from an estate sale. Or this Paradigm speakers came from an estate sale, or Infinity subwoofer. I mean, all the stuff that you see is all secondhand. It's not, none of it's retail.
Well, and I think also too, you can end up with something nicer than you would have been able to afford otherwise.
Yeah, it just takes time. Yeah, my son was building stuff, so he dumped out all of the greebles, and then you can see he was putting together. So this is Secret Island. So my son gets one island all to himself.
Yay!
So yeah, he gets a little. He gets all of his little secret stuff over there, and then he gets his own little pillows, and then he gets all of his custom builds are in that container, and then he was building out of this greeble pile. He took it out of a container over here.
Oh, how cool.
And then you can see, all the scooters and his Nerf guns and stuff are all laid out there.
Oh
but yeah, that's his island.
I would give anything for this kind of space.
That's part of having, living on a large pile of land in Colorado is you have like barns and horses and stuff. So
right.
The barns and greeble.
Barns and greeble, I like it. But yeah. So when I was talking about how I swap out, like if I'm going to build something red, I just go the red, the blue yellow container or whatever. Or if I need basic brick, there's all the filler brick or vintage brick is in there. And there's some backlog of sets too that we have to build sometime. But that's kind of the idea.
The eternal struggle, type versus color.
I did both, just because I have so much. You can tell I've got a lot.
Right.
Yep.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'd say definitely start by type in the beginning, and then as you grow, you can always break it down by color later.
Right.
Ooh, look at you with your safety gear there. You're safely getting up on your shelves with appropriate step stools, and I bet you don't stand on the top step.
Oh yeah, and you're not even looking at the industrial ladder over there with all the lumber. So.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah.
Safety.
Yeah, I'm trying not to show too much of my DIY stuff with the circular saws and all that stuff. But yeah, the table saws over there, compound miter saw, everything you need.
Wow.
I can't wait.
Our Lego room is also now the 3D printing room. So I'm just going to cram all those hobbies into one room.
So it means the room is slowly filling up with not only bushings, but little pieces of plastic.
But yeah, let me walk to the other corner. So there you go. You can get an idea that this is a massive building.
I'm not joking that is basically the size of our entire apartment.
Yes. Same.
Yes.
It might be bigger. Actually, I think it's bigger.
Moto, it would be fun to watch as you're working on one of your large projects, to watch a stop motion video of you running back and forth between the spaces and carrying large boxes.
Yeah. It's really boring because if you think about it, like this one, I'm going to build all Technic in white and red. So what I do is I pull my two Technic drawers and work off of that. And then when I'm done, I'd start surfacing, and then I'd swap the containers out. So like I said, I'm usually only working with 2 or 3 containers at any one time, just because I'm very much, and Richard, you're saying I'm very color disciplined. It's only because that's just the way I organize and the way I build, is I force myself to just keep a couple containers in the basement. But yeah, that's the idea.
That is awesome, Moto. Thank you so much for showing us.
I'll go back inside now.
Johnny Cat is inspired to move to wider.
It's so cold.
Spaces.
I know. It was kind of like we were hard pressed to move out of Portland proper. Like we really loved. We had this 1926 like craftsman home that we just absolutely loved. We've been there for 15 years, and we loved being in the city. But it's actually our work that moved us out here, because the work is like even further out in the burbs than like where we ended up moving to, because we're just the next burb like right out of Portland. Like Portland's like still just 10 minutes away. Like downtown Portland is 10 minutes away. So we're really not that far out. And then work is like another 10 minutes the other direction. But I will say that like it took us 8 years of commuting before we finally decided to like make the plunge and move out here. And I will say that this kind of makes up for it. Like the extra space is like, man, like why did it take us so long?
Right.
Yeah. But it's not always easy. It's definitely a lifestyle change, and there's pros and cons, or pros and pros. Yeah.
So oh yeah, well when we'll wrap it up when Moto jumps back on, but I did want to just like in the here he is. All right, Moto, here you come. There he is, back in home base. He can't hear me yet. That's okay. So anyway, I just wanted to say, first of all, thanks everybody for coming, hanging out today, as usual on Sunday.
Sharing your spaces.
Sharing your spaces.
Generous and cool.
Which I
wish you guys could be here, though. I want
in any way. What was that?
I said I want people to come over.
I know, yeah. I know. But you know, I just want to say I did not expect in any way for anybody to give a tour of their space. So I appreciate you all doing that. That's awesome. We're not going to show ours today. Maybe that's a different subject for a different day. You can kind of see.
You can see about a third of our organized space there.
But I did want to remind everybody we do have a challenge this week, and the challenge is build a real life object. So it's a more of a sculptural challenge. We are building objects from real life. And we're kind of trying to keep it to things that you could hold in your hand. And if you can build it to scale, even better. And when I say things,
so like a toaster counts.
When
right?
I say things that you could, that you could do, hold in your hand, a coffee cup, headphones, a toaster, like something that is, a reasonable size. So that is, that's the thing for today, or that's the thing for this week. And as usual, those will be due on Thursday for the slideshow on Friday.
5 o'clock.
If you're new or if you're here and you're watching the stream, go ahead and give it the thumbs up if you wouldn't mind there just below the video. Give it the thumbs up. It really helps us out. It's just a quick click. We appreciate that. If you are new and want to subscribe, please subscribe because we're going to be giving away a set when we reach 2,000 subscribers. Hooray! And
the Monkey Kid, Monkey King, Warrior Mech.
And
exactly.
I said
correctly
you did.
for the first time.
That's amazing.
Oh, wait, no.
And
here, you got to go the other way to get Kara. Wait,
what?
No, I got to go this way.
What's happening? Oh, my goodness. All right. And then... also I wanted to now I've blown off course again. All right, I have no idea where I was going with that. It doesn't matter. Anyway, thanks everybody so much for coming. We will be back on the regular show on Wednesday at 10 a.m. You can also catch me tomorrow at 2 p.m. on Twitch, where I will be working on building 3 of the Diagon Alley set, which is really fun. It's a much more, if you haven't been there yet, it's a much more casual, even more casual than this. Like it's just me building and chatting with people, and it's a fun time. It's a
several hour long moment of zen.
Yes. Well, I usually try to stick to 2 hours if I can.
It's more of a build and chill than a build and chat.
Yes, there you go. It is definitely a build and chill. I should change that. But anyway, thank you, everybody, and for showing off your stuff, for giving your input. I hope that people came away with at least one new idea about how they can organize their build space to make it a little bit easier for them to work. So we hope that you have a really great rest of your weekend. And I'm gonna just real quick here. I'm going to get something ready here. Yes. And so until tomorrow at 2 on Twitch and Wednesday at 10 a.m. on YouTube, don't forget to stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, and we will see you. Oh, get that flu shot. That's right. There. And we will see you next time. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.